Welcome to this week's Jackson County Board of Commissioners meeting. Your Board of Commissioners, overseeing these dedicated county departments. And now, your county commissioners, working together for the citizens of Jackson County.
Good morning and welcome to the Jackson County Board of Commissioners meeting here, November 30th, 2011 at 9:30 a.m. at the Jackson County Courthouse Auditorium. Please all rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like to ask our guest, Don Carpin, to lead us in the pledge. Don? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We had a special award this morning scheduled for Anahe Cervantes, but she's not here this morning, so we'll have to reschedule that. So, with that said, we're going into requests for discussion of non-agenda items. There is a 5-minute limit. Members of the audience may address any item not on the agenda. State statute prohibits the Board of Commissioners from discussing a principal subject that is not on the agenda, but the Board of Commissioners does listen to your concerns and may ask staff to follow up on any questions you may raise. An extension of 5 minutes five-minute limit may be approved by a majority of the board. So with that said, folks that need to have a non-agenda, come on up for, and please identify yourself and your address for the record.
Morning, gentlemen, ladies. My name is Terrence Scheffler. I live in Central Point.
Is his mic on? Can we hear him okay? Can everybody hear him? Yeah, okay, all right, we can hear him.
I'm here regarding the subject of advertising on our beautiful new airport control tower. Call it branding or whatever it is, still advertising. Burn Case cites branding examples such as U.S. Cellular Field, Lithia Amphitheater, Boeing Field, etc., etc. Using this logic, we will have to call our airport Budweiser Airport or whatever the sponsorship happens to be. Advertising on such a scale on the tower will be tacky and only add to Medford's sometime thought image as the low-class Appalachia of the West Coast. The opportunity to be the first in the nation to have control tower advertising is a distinction I think we should avoid. I feel the decision to plaster the tower with advertising will bring a widespread negative response toward Medford and the Rogue Valley. The erroneous labeling of our airport as an international airport already brings laughter from many quarters. After the federal government refused to provide a bomb berm as requested by Burn Case to protect our area from terrorists, I thought us fortunate to avoid being the focus of the late-night talk show circuit. I moved here 24 years ago from Colorado. The Rogue Valley is one of the most beautiful places in the nation, and I hate to see us perpetuate the image of the valley as less than beautiful for the paltry sum of $3,000 per month. Please consider reworking this decision so it reflects the will of the people and taxpayers who actually own the airport. In conclusion, I would suggest that it's perhaps time for Mr. Case to move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Carpenter.
Well, you've already guessed, my name is Don Carpin. I live in Rap Lane, that's south of Talent. I'm a Jackson County resident. And I've been a resident here in Oregon for about 29 years now, about 2 years more than what I spent in the Air Force in my Air Force career. And having said that, and I'm also the owner of Aero Images, which is an aerial photography company, and I'm in my 18th year of shooting images in this region. That said, I really honor and I agree with what you're saying. This is a beautiful valley. It's a beautiful city, and it's a beautiful airport, tower, terminal, you name it. Mr. Case has done some good work in that regard. But I also say that I've flown a lot over this area. I've seen a lot. I've been in many places in the world. And that's why I feel so strongly about keeping the beauty of this airport, specifically advertising on the control tower. When I come back and land at this airport, yes, I see that airport, that tower, that terminal, and all the good work that's been done in the past. But to put advertising up on that tower misses the point. If you take a look at 675 square feet for each of the 4 signs or spaces allocated, that's all of these pews back here, if you want to call them pews, benches. That's a large, large sign. I don't know that you've realized or that I realized it until I walked it off. So I'm opposed to the proposal to put the advertising up there. It is advertising. It is not branding. I take issue with Mr. Case by him continually using that term. It's a softer term, and it gives people the wrong impression, the term of branding. If you want to put branding on the control tower, you put that sign up there. That's branding, Jackson County, Oregon. It is not a name of an airline company or aviation company, I'm sorry, for whatever that's worth. The issue of parking fees, I don't have access to this kind of information that perhaps you people do or Mr. Case does. And so I don't know the impact of bringing in $3,000 a month and how that would impact landing fees, nor do I know or have the data to compare with other airports that Mr. Case says they're competing against. I don't appreciate the red herrings that are brought across the argument, such as maybe we can get a flight through an airline from here to Hawaii. That I don't appreciate that. $3,000 a month. What is that about? That's about $100 a day, a 24-hour day. And if that's for all 4 sides, then you can break it down to about $25 a day per side for 24 hours. So, and if you're going to take that down to an hourly basis, if we want to play with numbers, that'll get me an hour's worth of looking at one side of that sign. I don't appreciate that. I don't think that's good or a good thought. So the opposition we're talking about that Mr. Case refers to, the bad press, if you will, this is opposition by people who have first learned about this attempt. We haven't had the time to study it or anything like that. And we don't have good data. We're talking about decency versus dollars. And I don't have good data or a way to express to you what I consider to be an indecent proposal. So, again, it's advertising. They expect to have a proposal to you in 1 or 2 months. Well, I don't know where that takes you if you're that far down the road, and then to approve or disapprove a proposed lease. That sounds like the boat's already left the harbor on that kind of thing. Again, I admire Mr. Case's efforts. I'd like to think that I'm going to remain in good stead with him because I really enjoy the work he's done for this valley. But I honor this valley. I honor that airport and everything that he's done. So I strongly urge you to disapprove this request. Thank you.
Don, just one question. Are you on the Airport Advisory Board?
No, but no, I'm not.
Okay, I didn't know. Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak on non-agenda items? Thank you, Don.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Irvine. I live at 1055 North Jacksonville, in Jacksonville, 1055 North California in Jacksonville. Morning, sirs. As you know, my name is John Irvine, and I am currently a Rogue Community College student. I have changed my focus. Over 30 years ago, I was a criminal justice major. Then I have worked for about 35 years, and I've left such a huge ecological footprint that it would shame even probably Sasquatch. And I've been attending lots of these meetings since I've been involved with the leadership program and community development for a sustainable future. And so I have put myself back into college, and I plan on spending the second half of my life trying to help out and undo some of the damage that we have done to our great natural resources. Over the 40 years that I've lived here in the Rogue Valley, I've seen lots of changes, and I would like to, start contributing my part and try to do some undue efforts. In the meantime, I'd like to speak on some of I attended and saw lots of the regional problem-solving meetings, and I very much connected with lots of those, and I would like to, in the future, start following up with some of these issues and things and get a little more involved. Mayor Wheeler came to our class and spoke, and it was pretty inspirational, and I'm just getting lots of out of, getting back to the heart of what I once knew, and, kind of like everyone else, we forget about it, we get into the greed and the money and da-da-da-da-da, but anyway, I just wanted to give you guys lots of kudos, thanks. You have my greatest respect and admiration, not just yourselves, but all these other groups and committees that lots of people spend tons and tons of their valuable time and, at little or no cost and, just to do it from their heart, which is the only way that things do get solved. And anyway, I just would like to put out my express gratitude to everyone involved with the whole processes. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Anybody else wishing to speak on non-agenda items this morning? Anybody wishing to speak else? Okay. Thank you very much for your comments. We'll now move on to item 20.00, consent calendar. There are no items for approval this morning on the consent calendar. There are no public hearings for item 30.00 scheduled for today. We do have a discussion and deliberation on item 40.01, an order in the matter of adopting a Section 3 plan to comply with the 24 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 135 of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, Section 3, and designating, sorry, I didn't want to design Matt, designating Matt Michaelis as the Section 3 coordinator for Jackson County, order number 256-11. Danny?
Right, Mr. Chair. In this case, Jackson County does periodically administer grants from the U.S. Housing Urban Development Program. This is usually done via community development block grants, which are funds for purposes of rehabilitation of housing, for home buyer education, and for micro-enterprise development. The county doesn't administer the funds. The county serves as the fiduciary agent for the party that performs the work, both training and development. In this case, the United States Congress passed Section 3 of the Housing and Urban Development Act, which was done in 1968, to further the goal of ensuring federal funds benefit the residents of projects funded wholly or in part by those funds. Jackson County staff has developed a Section 3 plan. It is a requirement of the legislation to adhere to 24 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 135, that comprehensively addresses the standards and procedures prescribed in the Act. The reason why this is being brought before you now is that this year the state of Oregon's required each participating county to designate a Section 3 coordinator. And in this case, Matt Michaelis, who's a budget analyst for us, does generally process our community development block grants, and we're asking that he be designated as Jackson County's Section 3 coordinator. To just kind of briefly outline or highlight some points in the plan. The plan for meeting the Section 3 requirements really refers to low to very low income individuals or businesses, so that when there's funding that goes through community development block grant to an agency, that those people that are low income or very low income, and they're identified in the plan for what those income levels are given a preference in both training and development. There's two ways to qualify. One is that if you're in housing assistance program, you automatically qualify, and the other one is the income levels that you can qualify by. This is for projects that are $100,000 or greater, so if there's a community development block grant less than that, there's no Section 3 requirement. And in this case, I do recommend your approval.
Any discussion on the item before us?
Well, none other than to say I do see there's no financial impact, and this is mainly a housekeeping measure here.
I would say as well as Danny explained, gives a synopsis of the letter here, is that when you go on the website, you can get a full reading of this, but I just want to point out here that adopting this plan will, I'm quoting now, reading off the sheet, therefore adopting this plan will now enable Jackson County to continue its long history of using CDBG community block grants funds to benefit the citizens of Jackson County. So I think that's excellent.
Mr. Chair, if I might add, there's a lot of other detail in the plan. I just gave you the highlights of the plan. There's cutoffs by percentages for how people qualify. There's limits whether you're an individual or a multi-party business or individual family, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. And the plan is a public record, so if anyone's interested in looking at that detail, of course, they're able to request that through the office upstairs.
And I would like to add that when we travel to Washington, D.C., not only do we lobby for forest policy issues for us and funding issues for the rural schools and forest counties receipts, but we also talk about CDBG grants coming from the federal government to help our folks who are in great need of that. And this is just one more aspect of that. And then the other thing is that I was talking with Representative Buckley last night, and he said the CDBG grants coming to the state of Oregon would be pretty substantially reduced. So right now we have a target in mind here and have that, but I think those will be impacts that we'll also feel from the pass-through of federal government. Any further discussion on that?
No, Mr. Chair, I move that we accept Board Order 256-11 as presented.
I will second that.
It's moved and seconded. Call the roll, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, item so ordered and approved. I see our special guest is here today, and you made it just in a nick of time. So we'll roll back. It is posted on our agenda. We'll roll back on the agenda for that award. So we're going to recognize Anahe Cervantes. So Anahe, did I say that right?
Right in front here.
Yeah. How are you today?
Okay.
All right, very good, very good. You're tall, aren't you?
Oh, thank you.
Here we go. The December 2011 Jackson County Community Service Award will be presented to Anahe, did I say that right? Cervantes, today at our auditorium, obviously. Ms. Cervantes has served with the Oregon Child Development Coalition and has been Policy Council representative for bilingual Head Start for the past 2 years. She galvanizes our Hispanic families to come together for parent meetings. She is the voice of the Hispanic parents in the community. The Oregon Child Development Coalition has been trying to build a library to bolster literary progress in the preschool bilingual population. Anahe has coordinated with the Mexican consulate and received donations of over 150 books. Anahe travels to the Migrant Seasonal Head Start Control Office outside of Portland to share with other Hispanic parents how to prepare preschoolers for kindergarten. She is tireless, committed, and responsible and respected. She knows and spreads the word to the Hispanic community about the importance of parent involvement in their children's education. Anahe provides an invaluable service to our county, and we thank her from the bottom of our heart for her dedication. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, I want to say thank you for everything. Thank you for the OCDC, the program. This is a wonderful program, and I love it. And I would like to work or keeping working for the community work.
Thank you. It's a small token of our appreciation and recognition of your efforts.
Thank you so much.
Did you want to add anything?
No, I think
Anything?
it's just awesome.
Okay.
And I just have a question. Do you speak Spanish?
Sí.
Good job.
Sí. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Ladies and gentlemen, there being no further business before our board, and we had the pleasure of giving this very deserved award this morning. Thank you for attending. There'll be no further business. I hereby adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been watching the weekly Jackson County Board of Commissioners meeting, held every Wednesday morning at 9:30. If you have any questions or comments, you can contact the commissioners at 774-6116. You can also visit www.jacksoncounty.org and click on Video and TV Center to view many of the county's latest public meetings, informational videos, and studio programs.